All right. This grid has been useful to NISO's Discovery to Delivery Topic Committee because it looks at where people may have tried to share content. If you look across the columns, these are various places where an author, a publisher, an institution may be placing some content with the view that it's now available to the world. And then down the rows, you see various ways in which people may hope to discover content. And this grid then becomes a systematic way of looking at the whole ecosystem to say, gee, are there any artificial barriers? Maybe there's some barriers that ought to be there, but maybe there's some barriers that are just accidental and ought to be moved through. So notice that this grid comes with no data, no facts, no opinions, but it begs all three of those things. And so now we're sharing this grid, and we've got three speakers. You're so lucky to have Letty Conrad to deal with the issue of scholarly journals, and Charles Watkinson to deal with issues of open monographs, and Jerry Hanley to look at the whole questions of OER, because each of those different types of content will have some of their own discovery issues in terms of these various rows. So just to practice a little bit, I'm going to show you what it would be like to have an opinion about one of these rows. And then I'll turn it over to Letty to carry it further. So I'm going to point out, let's look at this row called Publisher Provided Links. Now, I want to take you back a while ago, 15 years maybe. If you go back 15 years, when journals were just becoming online and electronic, there was in libraries at that time what was referred to as the appropriate copy problem, dealing with the fact that academics often didn't know they had access to online content, even though they did. So here's a quote from 2001 DLib, listserv. Probably the single most important development recently has been reference linking, the ability to link automatically from the references in one paper to the referred to articles. That was 2001. So now, here's where I form an opinion. I look across publisher-provided links, and I look at each one of these places of where there might be content, that cited article, that reader would like to be able to find. So I maintain that actually links have not kept up with the times. So my opinion would be that actually if you could develop some links that actually look at not just the appropriate copy problem, but what I would call the appropriate version problem, now that we're living in a world that is both OA and non-OA. So the reader wants to be able to find stuff and read it. Links would be able a way to provide it. And if you're doing usability testing, you'd want to be doing usability testing, which would say, all right, readers of this citation and the links that follow have trust that in one or two clicks, they could be to an available version of that article. So I think that's an opportunity for publishers, and that's how I've used this grid to share with you an opinion. And now Letty Conrad will take us further.